Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Reimagined by KTO Designs. The channel that, reimagines or helps you to reimagine design thinking and to help understand how to design and to maybe rethink about what design is and to use it as a way to create meaningful pieces or meaningful services rather than creating something that's solely aesthetic. That was a bit of a mouthful, but let's just continue on. But anyway, the topic of today's video is something that's been building up. Before we start, I just want to thank Visual Thinking. So I've been reading this book and it's really good, and I would totally recommend everyone to get it, to even if your friend has it, get it from your friend. Probably more better to actually buy it, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this, and most of the videos actually inspired by this, and probably more videos to come will continue being inspired by it. But what it does is it gets you to think in obviously a visual way, and I think that's really important because a lot of people they kind of struggle to draw, and they do it in a sort of effective way that's just like how you can use stick figures, even an effective way to illustrate your point. And it's also good for business, and they give you very helpful business tips as well as design tips, so definitely give it a bash. So anyway, so today's topic is the design process. It's something that's been talked about. I think I did say maybe in one of the videos I would do design process, but that's narrow-minded. I'm going to do design process because it's so important. It's kind of like the foundations of when you create and when you design. But also design, the design process isn't just a set thing. I won't say the design process is like this and therefore you have to stick to it. No, that is totally wrong. There is a structure, and it's the double diamond, if anybody's heard of it. People in service design and product design have heard of double diamond, or if anybody else has heard of it. But basically it's whatever goes in comes out. Throughout the years I'm aware of what double diamond is, but I've just kind of loosely ignored it and created my own design process, because at the end of the day it's your design process, and it is it's very subjective. But I just want to share to you my experience of a design process and how I follow it. Okay, let's start. Okay, so what we're going to start is I'm going to just quickly, I know I kind of did the double diamond thing, but I'm going to just quickly go over it. So yeah, the double diamond is basically, it was created in 2005 by the British Design Council, and it consists of discover, define, develop and deliver, and it's very linear. And a lot of people have said that it's kind of not a great way for designers to work. But some people do work to the structure, so if you do that, ignore this video, but or acknowledge this video. I just wanted to show you how my design process is. I did a project. I've been doing projects for a while, and I'm going to put a little my process right here. And basically my process is how I like to design. So I use sort of a couple of bubbles, but these bubbles kind of change, and it allows you to switch around. So what I would recommend is that you kind of create your own design process based on project work. So how I do it is first of all I do my desk research, and this is probably where Discover comes from, but I do my desk research first, and then from what I gather from desk research, I then do engagement research, and then from that it kind of moves along to my initial designs. But once you do your sort of initial designs, your sort of prototypes, would you say, or your own findings kind of thing, then I use those prototypes to engage again. So that's like another form of research. So you're always making, you're always researching, you're always making, you're always getting feedback, and it's like, I think that's what the process is. It's like sort of, you know, coming back to your users, coming back to it's always this constant feedback, constant sharing of information. There is obviously a point where you can't do that anymore. Well, you can do that, but there's a point where you have a deadline. So obviously, after you're doing this shared information all the time, you have to do it like you have to develop the design, because you're getting all these information. So then I've got your kind of design developed, and then from that development, it becomes a more prototyped, more refined idea. And there's always like collaborations and stuff. So in a way, you could say like, you know, your ultimate product is more of a collaboration with users, and I think that in itself is the best design, because you are successfully engaging with your target market, target audience, and everyone wins and they're involved. You know, that's really good. Like, I would like to be involved with lots of things. It's just something that you can do for yourself, and you could use like my one or the double diamond as a way to I guess as a sort of like template, I guess, but like always get like your little diary. In my other video, I talk about a organization book, so you can click on that, leave a wee card here, and yeah, just like always write down your reflection at the end of your like designs and the end of your research, and then just like say like, okay, maybe this bit didn't work, so therefore my process is this, and always like write it down, because then you know how you work as well. Like that's another way, like it's you're knowing yourself when you're doing that design process. So now we're going to talk about the creative cycle, and what the creative cycle is. It's a way to, I guess, understand and engage. It's another process, and I think this kind of makes me learn a bit more, and it's more detailed. You've got 5 sort of tiers, would you say, of this design cycle, creative cycle, and whatever you call it. You've got your understanding, and then you've got your redefine, and then you've got your idea, and then you've got your visualize, and then you've got your share, and then you've got your reflect. So I always use this as understanding first. You're understanding the brief. Be it you're making your own brief or you've been given your own brief, and you sort of like want to identify where you want to like achieve, and what your ideal situation is, and research and understand like the problems that are at stake. You know, just like sort of highlight each like bit. Like you're effectively understanding what the brief is, and I always like to reword the brief, which comes to refine. Okay, so once you sort of like understand it, put it in your own words, and then you're separately kind of like researching each bit, you know. So refining is you're clarifying like what you want, and like what you want to achieve, and what's the most important like goal on that, might be like that brief. I like to use the sort of how might we, and I think that's quite good, because that makes you question the brief, which further helps your design thinking. A brief is a question, right? So using your how might we, it kind of makes you have a sort of theory or a hypothesis, if you will. Either how might we or what if. What if is also a helpful tool that we use in design, and that kind of helps the hypothesis, like what if we, or what if this happened. It's continuing questions and always asking why, and this is you're on your way to the path of designing, because you are wanting to prove your hypothesis through experimentation, prototyping, asking people, and engaging. The next tier we have is ideate. So this is where we're obviously like creating concepts. We are starting to like understand, trying to like create models or create prototypes, and we're using like different perspectives, and we they are also in a sharing sense, like if you're working with a group or if you're engaging with others, this is the point where you are making like idea cards. So what I would suggest is, if you're in a group, obviously everyone has different ideas or visions, so use like these idea cards or post-it notes. You know, as designers we like post-it notes. Get a blank wall, white wall, or if you don't have a white wall, flip chart. If you don't have a flip chart, piece of cardboard box or something, like some sort of like big sort of area, I guess, and just write down or draw, preferably draw, your idea, and let everyone see your idea using like maybe like sort of sticky those like dots, or you can use a pen or something, and it's like in a way it's like voting. So you're not voting for the best design, you're voting for aspects of the design so that you can create one big mega design which has everyone's ideas in it, but also talk about it, you know, talk about why this is good and all that kind of stuff. And you never know, maybe from this collective conversation these ideas, you know, maybe like not like valid, and then you end up being like, that conversation was an idea because you all came together and then you're like, okay, we had these aspects, now we've created this like mega design and mega idea, let's prove it, let's go and engage. Next here, visualize. Once you've got your idea and once you've got your design hypothesis, I'm talking so much, you've got visualize. And so visualize comes through, obviously you visualize your design, you know, your service, but this is through storytelling, active storytelling, like drawing or animation, or speaking about it, and it's like you're doing this kind of like through maybe like a presentation, and it's so that, you know, your audience, your users can make sense of it, but also you make sense of it. Sometimes when you have this idea, this concept, and then you sort of write it down or sort of draw it through storyboards, you're like, actually, how does this make sense? Like, how can I engage? Like, I don't understand how this can be like engaging. Like, you know, there's always that missing gap. So then you go back to the drawing board and you're like, okay, let's fix this area. Another good way is like action boards, and an action board is something that you give to, it's another way of engagement. So you have this idea and you have like maybe this story, and then you go to your user, or you go to maybe like a team member or teacher or a friend or family, whoever, just to sort of show your idea and to say like, okay, maybe do this, just like they would give you like active suggestions to help with your idea. And I think that's really good as well, because that's, you know, you always need that second pair of eyes. With the action board, you're always discussing your ideas, you're always discussing your benefits, your journey is, you know, what if this fails? You know, there's just a lot of, you know, it's very useful. Our next one is like share, and sharing is basically what it's similar to like the visualize, but like it's like a mix. Like you're sharing using the action boards, but you're also like doing this to keep people like engaged, and it reveals like maybe sort of, you know, your ideas that are in your head, and co-design. So at the end of every design, through your product or service, you're always kind of like reflecting, and I believe that you should reflect anyway through any idea. Every day reflect, and these are the questions that I believe that are very helpful. So number one, always ask yourself, did we miss anything? Because probably. Number two, did we do too much? Decide if you did too much. I believe that you can never do too much, but at the same time you can overdo too much and it becomes saturated. So always narrow it down, I'd say. But yeah. Number three, what can we do without? This is a way to narrow things down. And like, you know, people say like, well, we need this, we need that. But you have to question yourself, like, do we? Is it necessary to the brief? Is this really what we want? Do we need a flying car? Like, is it necessity? But number four, how can we improve our idea? And that's every person. So that's through like engaging again, and just more reflection. And if anybody sees holes, if you see holes, if your friend sees holes, if your team member sees holes, if a manager sees holes, always ask yourself, like, is there something I can improve on? And the answer is always yes, because we're always improving ourselves every day. Number 5, this is a bit of a harsh one. I don't really like to say fail, so I would say why did it not work? Let's just say, why did it not work for us? Like that could be taken as a negative, but actually it's not, because it's actually a positive, because maybe something that became so negative will become a positive, because I always believe that positive like things isn't that helpful when it comes to design. I think if somebody says like, okay, this didn't work, once you know why it didn't work, then it works, and you're always learning every day. So I think it's better to fail and get up and do better, rather than always, some people can always like rise above, but like, what does it learn? You can be this yes person and be like, yeah, like I'm so perfect, like I've done everything, but do you know what it is to fail? No, because you've never had that, and you haven't learned. And I think falling is better than never having skint knees. Okay, so thank you guys for watching my video about the design process, and hopefully, I obviously didn't cover a lot of it in detail, but I hope there was a lot of helpful tips that you can take away from this. And again, I'd love to thank Visual Thinking book. There's a lot of stuff in that book. There's also like SWOT analysis as well, and there's different examples of road mapping that I would definitely recommend. And again, it helps you to draw and visualize. And that's something that's quite difficult to do. You can take a look at actually my other video. I do videos about how to engage with people during this kind of COVID or just in lockdown in general. We're using Zoom these days, so have a look at that video, and have a look at other videos of how to do engagement research. I'm pretty sure that my Design 101 series is kind of doing its own natural kind of design process. Again, other people have different ways of doing their design processes. This is just sometimes the way that I kind of do it in a way. So this is like the question of the day, and or question of the week rather. So let me know, what is your design process? I would like to know. Tell me in the comments below, and we can have a little discussion. So yeah, videos to the it's my left, but probably your right. And yeah, I've got the Design 101 series, and you can watch Designer Highlight as well, and that I have. And yeah, keep subscribing to me and like this video. This would really help me out. Keep on being creative, keep being inspired, and reimagine, and also keep safe, guys. You can get through this.